gentleman from California seek recognition.
I move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Let me first thank Representative Carvajal and Representative McBath for this legislation. I want to say that everyone on this committee wants to reduce gun violence. So I don't doubt the motivations or sincerity of my colleagues across the aisle. I do note that their arguments and policies have not made us safer. So over the years, in fact, based on recent studies, we have increased mass shootings, not only in frequency, but also in lethality. We've heard numbers and arguments from my colleagues across the aisle, and both their policies and those advanced by the president have not worked. And I think we should look at different ways to solve this problem. With respect to this specific legislation, the Extreme Risk Protection Order, what we're doing actually is not that new, because under domestic violence restraining orders, you can take away the guns of the perpetrator in an ex parte hearing. We have 5150 mentally ill kinds of determinations where, again, the person can get the guns taken away without having to be at a hearing. So this has been done before in other jurisdictions. Courts have upheld it. So this amendment is particularly odd because it doesn't seem that in these other instances with domestic violence restraining orders and with 5150 proceedings that we have this massive increased penalty. There's no reason for it to apply to this bill. Much of this bill is simply funding existing laws in existing states that have extreme risk protection laws that have been upheld by the courts. And so nothing here is unconstitutional because the courts have already upheld existing laws that do this. I note that I was in California State Legislature when a young man went on a rampage in Isla Vista near UC Santa Barbara and killed 6 students and injured several others. It was a tragic day, and it spurred us to pass California's gun violence restraining order law, the first extreme risk protection order state law in the country. Now, I believe that this legislation will be very helpful for states to continue doing these laws. I also have 2 marksmanship awards from the U.S. military. I've fired guns, I've taken them apart, I've cleaned them. I know how lethal they are. So in terms of suicide, they are extremely lethal, more lethal than any other means of suicide. We know that based on latest statistics from the Centers for Disease Control in 2017, there were 39,773 gun deaths, which is over 100 a day. So today in America, over 100 people will die from gun violence. 35 will be killed by someone else. Over 60 will be by suicide. These extreme risk protection orders will help mitigate that problem, and we know it works because studies have shown that it works in states that have adopted these extreme risk protection laws. So we can try doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, but that doesn't seem to be working. We should try something new, and I request my colleagues to think about this as simply trying to pass legislation because the old ways have not worked, have not kept us safer. And with that, I yield back.